It is important for your reader to understand the flow of evidence as you go through your paper. It would make sense to a reader who has read the novel The Outsiders to get the information presented in chronological order. It doesn't make any sense for the information to be out of chronological order unless you choose to do the order of importance. So I saw a number of essays this past time on The Outsiders where students were talking about how Johnny was the most heroic. And as evidence, in order, they gave, well, he saves Ponyboy's life. He runs into the burning church without thinking about his own welfare. He says that saving the kids was worth dying for. And he tells Dally to cut it out when they were at the drive in. The fourth position should be reserved for the last thing that happens, which is probably going to be the most important, or the most important thing that happens. So you could make a case that saving Ponyboy's life is the most important thing. That starts him down the path. You could make a case that rushing into the burning church is the most important, or that his conclusion that saving the kids worth dying for. You could make a case that any of those three is the most important. Telling Dally to cut it out when he's harassing Cherry Valance is not the most important, and it's certainly not the last one that happens. So it is very confusing for a reader when the tension or when the power of this essay builds and builds and builds and then drops way off in the last point. The solution to this is to plan. It's to know the four pieces of evidence you intend to use before you ever start writing. I encourage you to write the body elements first and then write your introduction and your conclusion. But the first thing I would do in an essay is I would, if I knew I needed four pieces of evidence, I would plot out what those four pieces of evidence were and put them in an appropriate order. You might not find them in that order, but when you present them to the audience, they need to be in an order that makes sense.